Hi there everybody, it's Verity here from inkybutterfly.wordpress.com and super excited to share with you that I now have my new Stampin cut and emboss machine. It came earlier in the week but I haven't been able to come on and get it under the camera for you. But I wanted to quickly share a little bit about it before I started today's project. So this is it. So it came in this really lovely box and it was all really well packed and everything, so it came all in one piece. It does have some brief sort of written instructions in all the languages in the markets. So just say read carefully. This is all there is in terms of instructions. Do read them through if you've never owned a die cut machine before. Most of the things are reasonably self-explanatory. Basically just don't use it for anything it's not meant to, and and that kind of thing. Tells you what's in the box, how to look after it, and then just a quick couple of lines on attaching the handle, the cranky handle. Brief instructions in here about which sandwiches to create. However, I'll show you in a minute that all those kinds of instructions are actually on the machine anyway. So the only thing I really pay attention to was how to attach the handle. So the handle comes separately and you have to just attach it, but it's super easy. To make sure you've got the washer and the little grub screw, and you get like a little Allen key. So I would recommend making sure you know where you put your Allen key. And then there's like a nice little rubber thing to cover that screw hole as well. But that's about it in terms of written instructions that I really wanted to show you, but they are there if you've never owned a machine before. Now it is still it is enlarged, so I can't really get it under the camera, as you can see, so but at least you can see it's nice and wide. Beautiful embossed panel on the front, and whilst it's closed I just want to quickly show you that it's got these really nice rubber feet, which are now really grubby from my desk and all the paper dunder and stuff, but 4 really nice rubber feet to grip to the desk. It's really solidly built. It is a little lighter than, I wouldn't say a lot, but it's just it's balanced better. Sorry, that's really close to the screen. But it's got a really nice handle. I'm going to sneeze. Why do I always sneeze in a video? So that's that, and then here's the crank handle, which I've already attached, and then there's that little rubber stopper there that covers up the little where the little grub screw thing goes in. And it just, I can't really explain it. If you've owned a machine before and you've actually turned a handle on one, and then you compare it to this one, it's just so smooth. It's really bizarre. I can't really describe it. It's just nicer. It's just nicer. I'm loving the white. Really love that. And then so it folds up, which is one advantage. So the Big Shot kind of was static. Once it was out, and you took up quite a bit of space. Whereas this has these 2 fold down platforms, and they just sort of fold down and definitely sort of click into place. Okay, and then you've got a really solid, and that base just feels so much more substantial than the Big Shot one. Okay, so that's it, and then you've got the branding inside as well. The rollers are just nice, and it just glides through, so it's hard to see under the screen. The overall sort of size on my desk isn't that much smaller once it's open than the Big Shot was, but again, I've got the option to sort of even if I just wanted to fold this one out the way, so I have it on my right because that's where I have it ergonomically on my desk. I could fold that platform away to give myself some more room on the other side of my desk. So that's the machine. It's really cool. So I'm just going to move that back to where he lives, just over there, and he just sits there beautifully, and he blends in better now because he's white. So the other things you get in your box will be your plates. So again, if you've used a Big Shot before, then you'll be very familiar with some of these sandwiches. Is that better with the glare? No, not really. Try not to get too much glare on it, but I need my lights on. Even in daylight, this room doesn't catch very good light. So the plates are on number. Okay, so it is literally 1, 2, 3 for basic die cutting, and there are pictorial sandwiches on there with a little bit of one-line illusions on there. Okay, so for die cutting, you have your platform number 1. You then need number 2, which is this sort of thin, kind of the equivalent of the thin die adapter if you've had a machine before. And then you have 2 number 3s in your pack, and these are your plates. So one to cut into, one to put on top. So when I use my plates, I batter this one and turn it over, and then when that one's dead, that one becomes the bottom one, and I get a new top one. That's what I do with mine. So you can see I've already given it a little bit. I couldn't wait to give it a crash test run. So that's how you die cut. So 1, 2, 3, easy peasy. You've then got the embossing instructions. Sorry, I'm trying to get it so it doesn't have the shine on it. However, you can see it's number 1, this base plate, and then no number 2, no thin die adapter needed, and number 3 embossing folder, 3 on top. And then if you want to do the 3D embossing folders, you just have the base platform number, and you have a plate number 4, this grey plate, which kind of replaces what was the purple plate in the previous catalogues. So just 1 and 4 for 3D embossing, 1 and 3s for regular folder embossing, for die cutting 1, 2 and 3. And the reminders are right for you anyway. So I tend to keep my 1, 2, 3s kind of in place almost on the machine, ready to go, and then because that's die cutting is the thing I do the most, and then my embossing plate will be stored away for until I need it. And yeah, it's just great, and it's less noisy, everything. So I'm really pleased with it. So that's exciting. And don't forget, if you join, you can add it to a Scud Data kit. So I'm going to move on to today's card, which just so happens to have quite a bit of things to die cut. Fancy that, eh? Fancy that. So it is Festive Friday, so I thought I'd bring out Peace and Joy. Quite excited by this set. It was something that I thought we could have done with in the catalogue, and that's these nice big bold sentiments, which is really great. If you have been watching for a while and you remember last year's annual catalogue, there was a great, was it the annual? No, it might have been the occasions catalogue actually. Yeah, anyway, there was a lovely set called Label Me Bold, which I absolutely adored, but sadly retired, and it had these little sort of banner words in. So those are back in this, guys. Got the big bold sentiments, and then we've got some nice little bits and bobs to decorate the card as well. But the exciting thing is the dies. So these are the Joy dies, and these cut the scripty word a shadow for the word, and then a shadow for the whole thing, so you get this nice sort of bubbly writing effect. And that's for the three main words: joy, peace and bright. Okay, so we're going to be using bright. I haven't done a sample, we're just doing it today. We're just going for it. So I'm going to go bright. The only thing I've done already is picked out some of the other stamps to work with, and I've had a little think about my colour scheme, but that's as far as I've got. I haven't actually done any prep ahead of time in terms of that, really. Sorry, just getting those things put to one side. Stampin' Chamois out and to the and ready as well. So like I say, the in sort of three sections: your skinny writing, the bubble and the shadow. Okay, die cut machines at the ready. So the plan is to use some Poppy Parade for the little teeny tiny bird. So I'm just going to roll out my plates, and I've got my cutting plate ready to go. So I'm going to lay that down. As long as the dies don't overlap, you're going to be good to go. Oh, I've just thought of another top tip as well. The gap between the rollers. So not the gap between the rollers, but the width of the slot that the plates go through is slightly wider than the plate, which means if you've got anything that's a bit close to the edge, it isn't going to crumple up like it would have done on a big shot. So that was the middle die going on to some white, and then I'm going to do the shadow in Pool Party, and I've got a scrap of Pool Party here, which I'm just going to cut down slightly so it fits on my plate with everything else, so I can do them all at the same time. So just one pass of the machine is going to cut out all of those for me, and like a Wally, I still don't have any adhesive sheets, which would make all of this far easier. Right, so through I go with my machine, nice and smooth all the way through. There was some cracking of the plates, that's totally normal, and I've just dropped all my dies. Just give me one sec. Oh. Just bringing that through for you. So that's just fallen out. That bubble has. Oh, I need my little dot of my eye, so I'm just going to poke that out and keep hold of him. Oh. I'm going to wonder what that little red dot is in a minute. Put those to one side. That's the white portion. And here is the skinny bit. So those layer together. Those are going to layer together like so, with my little eye on there. Okay, so those have cut super brilliantly. All the little bits and pieces have fallen out. I'll get rid of those. Okay, just going to put my plates back on the machine, ready for next time. So that's out of the way. Don't know whether we'll need those scraps, but I'll leave them to hand. So what I'm going to do is get these glued up and getting set so that we're ready to go with those when we need them, and they've got time to dry. So I'm just going to use some wet glue. So this chunky one isn't going to be too taxing to lay down, and the wet glue will give us a bit of wiggle room to make sure we've got it in the right position. an even-ish border all the way around, so that looks alright to me. Just get that on here and press it down. And little teeny tiny dabs of glue that will dry it clear. I'm going to take the take the pick tool and just add that into there, using that putty there. And then this guy we will need a silicone sheet for, if I can find it. Oh, whenever it is, it's fine. I had it for something else, that's fine. It was doing another job for me over here, so I'm just going to use the silicone mat just to protect my surface in case some of this sort of escapes, which it may well do. So the adhesive sheet would have made life a lot easier, and even better if we'd have had the foam, we could have done some of those elements in a three-dimensional fashion as well, which would have looked amazing. So I'm just carefully going to lay that over the white portion. Ooh, a bit wibbly. And so any stray glue will dry clear. And because it's so thin, it will sort of try and bend in an arch, which is why some of the things are looking like they might be a bit closer to the edge than others, but I don't think it matters too much. And I think we'll leave it at that. Nice simple colour scheme, and leave that to one side to dry whilst we do something else. So I have a white card layer here, my usual card layer size, so that's 4 inches across by 5 3/4 high, and I've got a Poppy Parade card base. So I thought I'd pick out the Poppy Parade from the sentiment. I'm planning to add some holly berries in the same colour, but it's not going to be represented anywhere else really. So that's what we've got so far. My bright's going to go in the middle, and I'm going to have what have I got? I've got Merry and Bright, and then do a bit of stamping on the background. So let's put that to one side, and I'm just going to bring in some scrap paper so I can stamp off on some of these. The stamp set had these lovely little sort of twinkly starbursty thingies, which I'm going to bring the pool party in to into this. So stamp a couple of those. I'm going to go for some odd numbers. Remember, always look better than even numbers. It just works for our brains. I think we need one just peeking out here. Okay, so there's 5 each of those. We'll see how it pans out, see whether we need any more, but I'm sure that will be absolutely fine. For my holly, I've opted for, like I say, Poppy Parade for the berries to tie in with the other bits and pieces, and I'm going to go with Granny Apple Green. So I wanted like a bit more like, you know, a nice jolly sort of vibrant colour palette, so I thought the Granny Apple would be nice rather than something like Shading Spruce. Okay, I'm just going to borrow my sentiment just for a second, because I just want to have a think about where these holly things are going to go. So one there, one there. Just have an idea of where I think we're going to go. So one's got to go somewhere there. One's got to go somewhere here. So that's 2, and then we can dot them about the place. As well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, odd numbers. Bring in our poppy parade and add those berries in. Oops, so lazy. Just want to bring out my cleaning pad. So these guys are just going to sit in there. I don't think it really matters which way you do it. It's quite a fun little image, so just do what you feel. If you were really thinking about it, you could probably, because there's little shine marks on them, if you were really paying attention, you'd probably want to have the light coming in from its own direction, but oh, it sounds like way too much hard work, so we're just going to go with that and have those all dotted about all over the place. I may still put some rhinestones in the centre of those twinkly bits, but I haven't decided yet. Okay. The idea is for this to be nice, and you know, because I really just wanted to show you the die cut machine and getting those. That looks cool, right? That's cool. That's cool. Okay, I think we can start putting it together. Some seal. Getting used to the seal now. Took me a bit to get my head around how to use it. But actually it's fine. I was evidently overthinking it. Okay. Just a nice thin border of that poppy parade peeking out. To pull in. Which will probably work out quite well. Look at that, perfect. So all those edge bits are just as good, and those have worked out perfectly for that. Let's get those back in as well. Nice and easy. Oops. Last bit. And then position that somewhere around there. You could probably, if it wasn't quite straight, I think because it's quite a curly, twirly script, I think you'll get away with it anyway. I'm going to pull some scrap cardstock just to stamp these little teeny tiny sentiments, and I'm trying to decide what colour I'm going to do those in. I think what I might need, I might do them in granny apple green actually. I've put them on the same block because I'm going to snip them and put some mini dimensionals around behind them. Nice solid images. So all we need to do is take our paper snips and cut around those. I'm just going to leave a teeny tiny white border around them. That's that one. They are teeny tiny. sorry, concentrating, I've gone quiet. And then across a little piece there. And they are going to need the teeniest, tiniest pieces of dimensional, might even be too small for a mini. Okay. Ooh. Yeah, I'm going to cut that in half with my sticky scissors. So I've got some little teeny tiny dimensionals. Oop. Slip another one on the paper. There we are. So we want the and to go in first. These small ones are a little, because I've cut them down so small, just a little tricky to manipulate. So if you've got tweezers and you like using tweezers, they're perfect for this kind of job. So that's going to go there, and that's going to go a little wonky there. And I think some sparkle would be lovely. So let's pull in our rhinestones. Here's my rhinestones and my takey pick tool. Now the gap, if you like, is the same on both the large and the small ones, and seems to be the perfect size for the larger rhinestones, so let's just go for it. Let's go for it. Bit of bling for Christmas, what do you think? We're going to be, that one just fits on. Ooh. I'm tempted actually to put some wink on the berries as well, because I feel like we've got all this sparkle on the on those little, they are sparkles, I think that's what they're supposed to be. So I think what we'll do is we'll bring in just a bit of ink of Stella. This will move the ink slightly, so keep within the bounds of the image. You may see that the little shine that's been left white by the stamp has just got a tinge of Copper Parade coming through on it now. That'll stock. Okay, fabulous. Right, so didn't really go into that with a plan, apart from what I thought the colour scheme might be, and I'm really pretty pleased with how that's turned out. You would need to put a panel on the inside to write on. I happen to have a piece of cardstock here, so let's just do it, and then it will be ready to write on and send. Of course, if you've got other stamp sets with nice Christmas verses on, you could have added that too. just reinforce that crease. There we are. Fabulous. Could have even pulled in some of the stamping onto the front as well, but I'm just keeping that plain for today. There you are, everybody. Cute. Really like it. So I hope you've enjoyed that. So like I say, that was the Peace and Joy stamp set and the cord Joy dies. Okay, thank you very much for joining me for that. As always, there will be a corresponding blog post in the description bar which will list all the products that I've used in today's video. There will be the shop and the stamp and die bundle. If you just want to put that straight in your basket and check out, that will be there. Also there is links to, well, I go by Stampin' with Inky Butterfly on all the social media platforms, so you can find me there as well. Also links to joining my team, so if you fancy getting your hands on a cut and emboss machine, you can right now if you become a demonstrator and you get your starter kit. And if you the machine won't be available to customers until September, so if you want to get in ahead a couple of weeks early, then the way to do that is by joining up. Okay, always a good time to join. There's always stuff going on, ready for demonstrators. We're preparing for our on-stage event, which is going to be a virtual event this year due to the COVID-19 thing, but that's another really great thing to participate in, so that will be fantastic as well. So lots of perks to being a demonstrator, and if you click the link, there's some information on those benefits. Okay, thanks everybody, and I will see you on Monday. Have a great weekend. I think it's going to be a bit cooler because it's been absolutely roasting where I am the last few days. So do stay safe, and like I say, I shall see you again on Monday. Okay, bye everybody.